Hello and welcome back. I've been saying in a couple of my other videos that I wanted to change my glue up and go from gem tack to trial liquid fusion. So here's the video that I'm gonna use it on for the first time. This is just a quick beginner video of how to bling out a photo frame. I got a Mainstays 4x6 size photo frame. It's got a wood grain texture to it. Standard frame, not too expensive. I think I can't remember right offhand. I'll find it in the link and put a link to it. It's under $5 though, but of course you don't have to use this type of frame, but this is the kind I picked. I like the wood grain finish. And this is blinging out a frame using Sharpie markers. Real quick and easy. I'm just gonna remove this tag off the back. First and foremost, when you get a frame, you want to make sure that it has a sturdy back to it. Like when you flip it up, it's not going to break. It's going to stand nice and correct. Even though this is a less expensive project, you still don't want it to look shabby. So items I'm using for this video, again, is the 4x6 photo frame. I choose the wood grain. You can get white, or you want something that's going to be able to show the Sharpie marker. I'm using a blue Sharpie marker. That's going to be the color of our frame today. And here's my liquid fusion that I'm going to try out. Actually, I've tried it on another project. I'm going to post that soon. But, you know, I'm just going to use liquid fusion for this because it dries clear. Whereas the gem tack dries clear also, but I want it to be not have any white in it at first. So if that makes sense. And I'm using these Bead Company gems from Hobby Lobby. That's where I purchased them. You can use any other type of gems you like, glass, resin. These are acrylic because this is just a beginner project. I like to use the so-called inexpensive gems for these type of projects just for practice purposes. And as you can see, it comes in a variety of colors. Make sure I don't want it to spill out. Here's my purple, my blue, turquoise, green, lime, yellow, crystal clear, and pink, which I've used most of them, you see. But for this project, we're going to use the different sizes of the blue line right here. I have a tray to set the bling in. I have my picker tool, which looks really raggedy right now because I use it for everything, but you know, you could get any kind. I'll give you a recommendation in the comments. Okay, I've already removed the tags off of here, so now what we're gonna do is take the backing off and the glass plate. Take the backing off, we don't need that for the beginnings. Little picture. And carefully remove the glass plate. I'm a klutz. I don't know about you, but I'm a klutz, so I have to really be careful with that step. So all we're left is the wood grain frame by itself. You're going to take your Sharpie marker, Sharpie permanent marker, and all I'm going to do is color it . And the purpose of coloring with the Sharpie marker is so when you put the bling on, it's not going to show like the bling and then you'll see the brown wood grain. You're giving it a base color. It's usually good to color in your surfaces when you bling, so you do have a base color, unless that's what you're intentionally trying to do, is show a different color behind your stones. But for something like this type of project, you want to color it in with whatever stones you're going to use. That way you can have a wide variety of different colors. So I'm going to sit here and color in the rest of this. And you can watch me if you like. I'm speed it up so it won't be as long. 9 times out of 10, I will get this on my hand. So want to emphasize right here that I've colored all four sides. I've colored the front, I colored the back. Now the inside, all around in here, that's very important. I want you to color that also. I want you to color that also, the inside. So even though I will assure you, really, you're not gonna see this, so it doesn't, you don't have to be like from the school of coloring. It doesn't have to be perfect. These little colorings that you're doing, it's just like a child's coloring book. You're just filling in the spots. But I'm gonna do the inside, but it doesn't have to be perfect because Bling is gonna cover all of this. The only thing you'll see is the sides, perhaps just a little bit in between the stones, but you pretty much got it covered. I'm gonna do the inside now with the marker. I've colored as much of the inside part as I could with getting it on my fingers, of course. But if you see how I got the inside for the most part? Yes, there is still some brown showing. And I'm just going over little spots I see. But for the most part, everything's covered. And again, you're not gonna see this anyway. You may see a little when people, like say if you're giving it to a child or whoever you're giving the frame to or selling it, because you can also sell this. If they don't see the brown, that's fine, but they're not gonna see it on the actual front part and the sides, which is the most important. So I think I pretty much covered it, don't you? Just darkening it up in some spots. Getting the edges. Want to make sure my base really looks like my blue base. Even though I must admit this is kind of making it look purple, but it don't matter. It is blue. So, there's our Sharpie frame. I'm touching it and bringing up some brown. There's our Sharpie frame. Now the next step is adding our bling. We're gonna use the blue sections, and I'm gonna take some of these out. Look, I got blue on my tray. It wipes clean. Take out the different colors. Well, not the different colors, but the different blue sections. In these, we have a larger size, we have a medium, and a small. I'm gonna use all three, because what we're gonna do is called the scatter method. You have the honeycomb method, you have the scatter method. There's another method that I've never used before, but when I do find out what that is, I'll let you know. But usually when I do something, I work with the honeycomb and the scatter. Mostly the honeycomb. Just getting enough so I can start this off to show you. So see, I have scatter sizes on my tray. These trays really help out. Of course, even though I'm still getting stuff on the counter, but. So I'm just getting them situated. Here's my frame. Liquid Fusion. Picker tool. So what I'm gonna do, and I hope this angle, this little tripod I have is kind of iffy. Got a little mess on the counter. What I'm gonna do is take the Liquid Fusion And just put a little bit on there. I'm gonna start on the end, in the corner. As you see, it goes on clear, which is different than gem tag. I'm gonna use the medium-sized stones that come in the package and go up the diagonal angle just to set my boundaries. So see, like that. It's kind of crooked, that last one, but you're gonna move it anyway as you put stones there to make sure it's fitting on there correctly. See? So I'm just gonna take some stones. It looks like this little teeny weeny one can go, and just fill them in where I see empty spots. My picker tool is getting kind of old. I need to change the head. And it don't have to be perfect. That's why you have that base color behind there, so it's not like if you see through the stones that you place, they're going to be looking at the brown wood grain. They're going to be looking at your blue base color. And I'm just filling it out with different color stones where I put the glue at. No rhyme or reason to it. That's why it's called scatter. With the small, medium, and large stones. Different placements. So I'll show you in a second. And that's what you use this little piece at the end of these picker tools just to move them so you don't have to touch them. So see, for that little piece of glue that I used, this is how it looks so far. And you see how I have the different sizes just filling it in. And even on the blue background, this color's still gonna change some when this Sharpie color dries, but on the blue background, you're not seeing the wood like that because you covered it up, so. See, it's pretty already. So I'm gonna go around the front. I have finished 2 of the 4 sides. I wanted to come back in and give you a look. So see, I don't want to touch it, it's very wet. I just finished it. So it's just basically filling in anywhere you see a blank space. That's why these little teeny weeny ones, did you see that? That's why these little ones come into play. Let me get closer to the camera. Oh, I made it blurry. Well, that's the 3rd size, the small size, because you're using that for filler stones to go in between the medium and the large stones. So anywhere you see a blank space, that's where you put those little teeny ones. And I recommend that you use the bigger stones, which seems to be the lighter stones in this pack, because that's less coverage that you have to do. I love the royal blue, the darker one, the medium stones. So I actually love this mix because it's nice to have the mixture of colors. But I've done another frame, a lime green frame, that all are the same color, and you can see how that looks too. It just depends on, in this package, which one has the different variety of the lights and the darks. These purple ones are like that. The turquoise, the green, the lime, the yellow, the clear are all the same color, and the pink has the variety too. But anyway, I just wanted you to see, and I'm just, you know, pinching it on there to make sure it fits on the frame. I went over on a couple spots, but no problem. It doesn't matter because the frame, the picture's gonna be in there anyway. But just so you see what it looks like so far, 2 of the 4 sides have been done. And I'm gonna let it dry for a little bit so that way when I'm doing the other two sides, I won't touch this by accident. But I'll be back when I finish the whole entire front of the frame. I finished the front of the frame. This side here is still wet, so I'm trying not to touch it, but this side's pretty dry from when we started it earlier. But as you can see, that's the scattered bling on the front side of the frame. See how pretty that is? And you don't see the blue really that we use with the Sharpie. And also the glue, I got some parts I can move here. The glue is also serving as a sealant on the Sharpie. And that's why it's looking all shiny in between the stones. So it's gonna be shiny and it looks marvelous. So the next step is I'm gonna cover the sides with bling, and then we're gonna go to the back. But I think the glue is pretty straight enough where I can go on and cover the sides real quick if I'm real careful not to touch the top. It's not completely dry, but it's dry enough for me to be able to handle it. I just needed you to see what it looks like. As you can see, there's the front. I did all four sides. And I elected to do the straight lines instead of blinging it like what was on the front, just one color, straight. Of course, you can do the bling if you'd like, the scatter method, the way so it could be uniform all the way around, but I just chose still to do it like that with the larger stones. But you can even see the bling, even with these acrylic stones. With that and the fact that the liquid fusion is making it shiny, it's just making it more blingy. So all we have left now is the back of the frame. That's the back. So you can elect to put more stones on the back and cover this part around. You can do that. Or what I like to do is use this type of mesh bling to go on the back. And I usually buy this from Amazon in this type of quantity because I also make other shot glasses using this, so I need a lot of it at one time. This is navy blue. Now, does it go with this blue? Not really. I see that now in the video, but it's blue, so I'm still gonna use it. It's not this dark royal blue, but this is shades of blue, so I'm gonna use it. And what I do is I look at the width of the back part I'm covering, and I just give it a good view of how many rows I need to cover. So I'm gonna put this on the edge so that you see what I'm doing. And it looks like the width is two rows from here to here. So I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it right here. It might be some overage, but then you just cut that off and I'll show you later. I'll probably do another 4x6 frame with this, so I'll just cut off the entire grid. And again, I'm gonna cut off this first row. We said 2 rows of work, but I'm gonna cut off this first row. Because this edge right here was kind of frayed. So we kind of going 2 rows in per our measurements. So see, And I'm gonna try to put this in a way that you'll be able to see. A little bit of glue goes a long way. I'm just gonna, just a little bit. Cover the entire width. And I'm gonna lay that on top. See, if you see, there is some that goes over the edge. But when this dries, I'll just take some scissors and cut that off right there. Gotta make sure I'm not messing my rows up on the side, because like I said, it's still wet. So I've laid the first row. That's what it looks like from the side. So let me do the other 3 sides and I'll be back. The next day, the frame had a chance to cure overnight, so it's completely touchable. Just wanted to show you what it's looking like. Here's the front, the sides, all 4 sides, and our back with the bling. And actually, this blue bling that I said didn't really go, it ended up working out pretty good with the rest of the frame. It's like shades of blue. So we're finished with the frame, except this part right here. Yesterday when I laid it, and I had this little extra overage. So all I need to do to clean it up is just bend it up where I'm cutting it and just carefully cut it off. And see, we already added glue to it all the way, so that's a finished edge now. This the same thing. This side was a little over. So you just snip off the overage. Nice and easy. And we're finished. So I'm gonna go on and put the insert back in there, because you might see it and say, well, I can still see the blue part on the inside. This is where we colored it with the permanent marker still, but really, you don't. So I'm gonna insert the piece of glass. Pretend like this is a picture. Well, it is a picture, but a real picture. Put the backing back on. You know, these frames have a little groove on there. Insert the backing. And voila. Finished frame. And let me show you what you see in the back. Nothing. The only thing you get to still see is this little edge that goes around. And if you don't like that, you can always go back and color more on with your marker, but you basically don't see anything where you colored the Sharpie in. It's just adding highlights to in between the stones where they might show, and your glue is making it bling more because it's shiny in the middle, because of the glue that's dried clear. So, and here's the bling on the back. So finished frame, beginner project, quick and easy. From start to finish, besides the overnight drying, took about, I don't know, maybe with drying in between times, maybe I'd say 3 hours perhaps, if that, and then you have the overnight and just to do the cleanup. This is an example of using one of the other colors in the box. Remember I said previously that some of the colors come in different shades, like this one, like the blues have several different colors to them. The limes are all one color. So this is the same frame using the lime Sharpie that comes in the pack. Same, I had some lime Bling that I used for the back. But this is all that I did, the straight line still, scattered method. That's the same colors, the same pack. And that's just a different example of the same frame. 4x6 wood grain, same process I used. So you see the different varieties of colors you can have. And as just one more point, an example of the more advanced frame that I'm gonna do a video on. This is my more advanced frame. And this is using glass stones. And this is also, it's a beveled frame, but you can still use any other type of frame to do this. But this is, I still use the same process for the advanced with this bling on the back. I did the straight lines, could have did scattered, but this is my more advanced frame with all glass stones. And I will have a video on that shortly. So, thank you very much for watching as always. I appreciate you.